Are the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles already irrelevant? And is the console market failing to deliver what they've promised us? An upcoming Microsoft exclusive has sparked up the debate again, and I want to throw my 5 cents in. Redfall, the latest game from Arkane Studios, is likely going to be dead on arrival when it launches next month on May 2nd. Let's start with Redfall, but let's zoom out as well and look at the bigger picture here, the real problem, and how consoles have a rough time to stay relevant. Redfall is that new lukewarm-looking vampiric romp from the makers of the Dishonored series. Essentially, it boils down to a first-person open-world hero looter shooter of sorts. At first, I thought it was being marketed as a horror game, which aroused my interest. But then it turns out it's just another generic, albeit kind of cool-looking FPS game to play solo or with friends. Ah, yes. Friends, I remember those. Now, the controversy here was first when IGN showed us some early gameplay which had everyone's toes curling at just how bad they were at playing it. Really, embarrassingly bad. The player was whiffing shots, going for ludicrous no-scopes with snipers, damaging enemies and then running away without finishing the job, just to name a few. So naturally, it was mass downvoted by the public, and people were sharing their thoughts in the comments, saying things like, you know, the game already looked average, and now you're playing it so badly it was making it look like a very terrible game. But you know, they let that slide, and a lot of people were just saying, like, you know, it was just that one guy, IGN, he's never played an FPS before, give him a break. They could see themselves playing the game and doing a lot better at it, and I don't think it really hurt the game too much. But then the real stink grenade here was the official Redfall Twitter account tweeting this shit sandwich. The Xbox Series X version, this is like the top end version, will be getting 4K resolution and a locked 30 FPS. The Xbox Series S version will get a 1440p resolution and a locked 30 FPS. A 60 FPS performance mode is arriving at a later date, they don't specify when. This is an absolute miserable joke. 30 FPS? In 2023, companies still don't know what people want? This is a first-person shooter. Sure, it's not a competitive one, so you could make an argument to say that it's not as imperative as it could be, but who in their right mind wants to play a first-person shooter game at 30 FPS in 2023? Literally nobody. They should have got the game running at 60 first, then worked on a quality mode later. That should have been their priority, but no. Apparently ray tracing is more important than migraine prevention. They've caught some serious pushback by the angry mob of Twitter users on this tweet, and this is one of the rare times I actually stand with the rabid, deplorable mob. This is an Xbox exclusive title. Xbox doesn't get many of these, okay? And they openly come out and tell everyone it's basically an unoptimized mess. But don't worry, because you've got a beautiful 4K resolution slideshow to feast your eyes upon. Not only this, but the gameplay previews we've all seen are running at 60 FPS. And you want to know how? Because all of the gameplay was captured from the PC version of the game. And you want to know why they did that, considering this is an Xbox exclusive? Because nobody would have even looked twice at this game if they advertised it with 30 FPS. It's smoother to play at 60, it looks better at 60. Games actually feel more polished even if they have lower res textures if the game is running at a higher frame rate. And that is just cold hard fact, that is not an opinion. This is almost false advertising in a way, because what we see in those gameplay reveals isn't what you're actually getting if you're playing on the Xbox Series consoles, a console which has the power inside it to definitely at least hit 60 FPS gaming on anything. With upscaling technology being as good as it is these days, why they aren't utilizing that on console is beyond me. Not everything has to be 4K. 1440p is a perfectly decent resolution to game on, especially if it means hitting the bare minimum of 60 FPS. And even any of these gameplay reveals, we haven't seen anything that makes it look too intensive for these consoles to handle. There's no excuse for this. Also, this game is certainly not anything that we haven't seen already hundreds of times. It looks quite generic. It's probably the most generic looking Arkane game that I've ever seen. And with 30 FPS, this shit is going to look and feel like a game that was made in the 2010s. I remember Call of Duty Modern Warfare back in the Xbox 360 days, and they said that one of the selling points was there's an FPS on consoles running at 60 FPS. So how are we in 2023 and we still can't do that? Like, that's not the bare minimum. This brings me to the point of where consoles are sitting at the moment. These new consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S, were sold with the promise of getting up to 120 FPS gaming at a fraction of the cost of a full gaming PC. So tell me, where are the 120 FPS games other than indie titles and a handful of arena shooters? Because I'm telling you right now, the list isn't that long. Even when games say that they've got a 120 Hz mode, it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting 120 FPS. If you were to have an FPS counter on your screen like you can on PC, PC, I can guarantee you none of these games are hitting anywhere close to a consistent 120 FPS on console. Most people playing on console are plugged into TVs too, so unless you've got one of those fancy pants expensive high refresh rate televisions, you're likely playing on a TV which can only refresh at 60 Hz, therefore only allowing you to see a maximum of 60 FPS. Without getting too wordy or annoying, this just means that the bare minimum should be 60 FPS gaming on these consoles, and then some games could try and go above and beyond and make a 120 FPS mode if and where possible. 30 frames per second is pathetic in 2023, and for a shooter no less, which relies on your ability to track fast-moving targets, it's an utter joke. Microsoft takes another fat juicy L with this, and everyone who owns one of these consoles has the right to be completely pissed off right now. It turns out that the best place to play Xbox games isn't even on an Xbox console. It's on PC. You get all the bells and whistles and graphical options in the world and custom FPS rates to suit your needs. The monetary barrier of entry to gaming PCs wards a lot of people away from them, and they can get extremely pricey. But in all honesty here, this is just me throwing in my opinion here, I don't think that the future of gaming can be on console anymore. I think it's going to move to PC. GPUs and other parts which offer decent enough specs to play the games that you want at high frame rates are becoming more readily available with price points that aren't as painful as they used to be. The fact that we hear rumblings of a PS5 Pro just around the corner when the regular PS5 has been a nightmare to get hold of for many people globally is just such an insult when we haven't even seen any proper next-gen games yet. Just a load of cross-gen garbage because they damn well know not everyone has had a chance to upgrade yet, and serving up a PS5 and Xbox Series only game right now hurts their bottom line. So then they want to make you feel like your console is already out of date by giving you a PS5 Pro or the Xbox Series X, or whatever they're going to call it. Regardless, guys, we can't keep putting up with bullshit marketing and games which underdeliver on the next-gen features that they promised us. They took our money, they should give us what we paid for. What do you think about this, guys? Are you sick of getting headaches from the 30 FPS stutterfests, or are you not bothered? I really do think you should be bothered, though. I mean, this affects everybody. You definitely should be bothered. Let me know your thoughts in the comments anyway, guys. I'll be curious. And yeah, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Dislike it if you didn't like it. Subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Take it easy. Thank you for watching. Thank you. You personally. Thank you. Now get out.